This is Jessica Moretti's absolute worst nightmare coming to life. Victims who are waking up from comas. So for 4 weeks, this guy was silent because he was trapped in a coma. While the world, all of us, mourned 41 lives lost in the Crown Montana New Year's Eve inferno, another 116 were in hospital, some of them in comas. And now they are waking up. And the first one who's woken up and who's speaking is 18-year-old survivor Rose. I believe I'm saying this right. He's finally opened his eyes. And his first words will send shock waves through the Swiss Alps. And as for Jessica Moretti, this is her absolute worst nightmare coming true because she can no longer hide the truth. The dead could not speak. Those who were in a coma could not speak, but that's over right now, today. Welcome to Decoded. I'm Nas. So, what is this victim of the fire, Rose, who's just woken up from a coma, telling us? He's not just telling us how the fire started, he's accusing the bar's owner, or is it the manager? Oh, well, I guess we should ask the Swiss banks who keep loaning them money. But anyway, you know I'm talking about Jessica Moretti. And he's accusing her of something far more chilling than just negligence. Now, his exact words: we almost died. And she was crying in the bar. Now, remember when Jessica said she couldn't eat, she couldn't sleep? Remember when Jessica Moretti said that she couldn't eat, she couldn't sleep? Remember when her lawyers said that they were being victimized, the Morettis were being victimized? And also, remember when some people said that it's not true that she took the cash register tray and fled, that she was stuffing money in her bag? Well, this survivor coming out of a coma and speaking to Belgian TV makes us see Jessica Moretti in a whole different light. Even if you believed some of her fairy tales, I don't think that you can any longer. So what did Rosé say when he spoke to Belgian TV? He said it was a scene of total abandonment. He claims that while dozens of minors, remember, they were minors, average age of the victim in that fire was 19. There were 14-year-old kids in there. And Crown Montana, the canton of Valais, have still not addressed that issue. Think about it. Think about it. They have not explained why there were kids, barely teenagers, in that bar. But Rosé says that while dozens of teenagers, minors, kids were screaming in pain, trapped behind a blocked service door and staircases that had been narrowed, Jessica Moretti was standing right there. Someone asked me in the comments, how is it that she did not get injured? I thought she was on the upper floor, but according to this eyewitness, a survivor who just got out of a coma, he says that she was standing right there. But here's where it gets really interesting. She wasn't helping. She wasn't helping. What was Jessica Moretti, the woman who thinks she's being victimized by the media? What was she doing? Well, according to Rose, and I am waiting for more information to come out, but I really just had to get this to you guys ASAP because I know that you feel everyone else has abandoned the story. The big news outlets have abandoned the story. I've always said this, I'm not going to. Of course, I'm going to talk about other things. I mean, this channel is going to go on for a long, long time, so we can't only talk about Kran Montana. But as long as there's information about this story, I will keep at it. So, Jessica Moretti, you know, the B-list, C-list, D-list actress, whatever, what was she doing? She was staring at her burning bar and she was crying. She was weeping, weeping for her property, weeping for her profits, weeping for her fake Grey Goose vodka. But she was not weeping for the people. She was not pushing that service door open. According to this eyewitness, and I quote, she saw the injured. She didn't help anyone. She turned her back on us. I find that unacceptable. Early days, early days. This news is still coming out. We have to wait for more verified reports, but I'm simply bringing the new information to you, and you know the comments are our ledger. So if you have more links, you have more information, pop your thoughts in the comments. Now, we do know that the fire likely started from the sparklers, the champagne bottles, hitting the acoustic foam. We know all those details. We also know that Jacques Moretti admitted that he installed it himself. It was a DIY job. Of course, he's now trying to blame the hardware store for not telling him it was flammable. So 116 people were injured and many who died were found behind that service door that was locked from the inside. Had that door been opened, there would not have been a pile of dead bodies. Those kids, minors, teenagers, children would have gotten out. Now, this the controversy, remember, where there were witnesses have already alleged that they saw Jessica Moretti fleeing the building with the cash register, the tray of the cash register, while the basement was still full of teenagers. Now, with this new victim coming out of the coma, we are going to get more information. Remember, Jessica's legal team called those accusations about taking the money and running. She called them lies. The media was being vindictive. They said she was in shock. She was just a guardian of the premises. She was devastated by the tragedy. And as for her husband, Jacques Moretti, well, he's a whole other story. That pimp, kidnapper, I have no words. I have no words. But what's really interesting now is that Rosé's testimony changes the narrative. And if he's right, if what he is saying is the absolute truth, and I mean, why would he lie? So that would mean that the owner, manager, whatever you want to call Jessica Moretti, didn't just fail to provide a safe building. That was the number one problem, right? She didn't just fail to provide a safe building. She didn't just fail to keep minors and teenagers out. Remember, she said it's not busy enough. She would have probably let a 7-year-old in just to get the numbers up and the money in. She failed on so many counts, but the thing that she really failed at, her moral and legal duty to assist people in immediate danger. She was probably hoping and praying that these kids did not speak, but they are speaking. And what they are saying I think it's what we suspected all along. Look, the bottom line is we know that the Morettis are not saints. They're clearly not good people. They are in it for the money. We've seen this time and time again. They locked that service door so that the kids could not leave without paying. These are people who were only interested in the money. So I'm inclined to believe that she did leave with the cash register tray. I'm inclined to believe this witness, this victim, who came out of a coma after 4 weeks. We now know that 41 people are confirmed dead. Most of them were around the age of 19. Now, what is the Sion magistrate going to say based on this new testimony? We can't just bury this, because I don't think this is a tragic accident. It never was. It was not an accident. It was a tragedy waiting to happen, because the Morettis cut corners, because the Canton of Valais is basically a shit show. There's no accountability. So I don't believe that this was a tragic accident. I don't believe that, people were indifferent, so things just kind of happened. No, we now have testimony that Jessica Moretti stood there crying, bawling her eyes out because her bar was burning down. And as for the 40 who were going to die, her attitude was probably, F it, who cares? Who cares? She did not realize the repercussions. She did not realize that the world was going to pay attention, that we would all be disgusted, and that we will not let the story die with the victims. I'm monitoring the situation as more survivors regain their strength, as more survivors start to speak. And as for Italy, I'm so proud of you guys. They recalled the ambassador. Rome is livid. They want answers because Cran Montana, you killed their children. Yes, Cran Montana, you, the Canton of Valais, yes, because you didn't do inspections, because you, the Bank of the Canton of Valais, gave money to a pimp, to a kidnapper, to a man who could not get loans anywhere else. So yes, you funded a criminal. You funded the bar. You looked the other way. You did not do inspections, and those kids are dead. Cran Montana, forget snow on the slopes. You have blood on your hands. Yes, I am passionate about this. I hate injustice, but even more than injustice, I hate when people try to cover up the truth. And that's what Switzerland has been doing, but no more. No more, because the victims are waking up. They are waking up. And Jessica Moretti, the nightmare, my dear, is only just beginning. Only just beginning. So let me just tell you about the victim, Rosé. He was being treated in Belgium, right? So I am hoping to get more reports on this, and I will bring it to you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Pop any links that you have. If the story is now showing up in your country newspapers online, let me know. And remember, I said the death toll is now 41. It rose to 41 after another teenager passed away in February. Killed. You tell me by whom? The canton with their lax rules, no investigations. I mean, they really want this to die, along with the 41. Lack of inspections, giving money to someone who was a scammer. We know he's a scammer, giving loans to someone who did not qualify for loans, not inspecting the building, allowing them to pretty much do whatever they wanted, lock the service doors, trap people inside, narrow the staircases, steal money from the COVID fund. Well, they gave the Morettis enough rope, and now, as us English say, give him enough rope and he'll hang himself. Well, it looks like that's what's unfolding now. I cannot wait to hear more testimony. The Italians want to be part of the investigation. We are going to have our day in court, and those victims in hospital, the 116 who will speak in court, will also be speaking for the 41, that pile of bodies at that service door that was locked from the inside. Remember, jammed with a chair. It's all in our previous videos. Thank you for sticking with me through this story. This is kind of the best news that has come out. Finally, we have someone who is willing and able to give evidence about what Jessica Moretti did. Are her lawyers going to call this victim vindictive? Stay tuned. Stay tuned. I'm Nas. This is Decoded, and it is ciao for now.